Bulldogs versus Giants. You got two of the biggest players in the game squaring off, and guess where they're playing? In Ballarat.
Exactly. So just for our fans, we're talking about the Western Bulldogs and the GWS Giants in the AFL, and they have the Bulldogs sell a home game to Ballarat, I think, once or twice a year, and they thought they would be able to. Well, they have sold the game to Ballarat. It's the coldest place in Victoria, and now the Giants, who are vying to keep the 7th spot on the AFL ladder, have to go to Ballarat. Now, as we've discussed off camera, Ahmed, this is a huge game. And not only is it a huge game for the two sides, but it's probably the first and second best player in the AFL coming up against each other this Saturday at 1:45 with Marcus Bontempelli, the captain of the Western Bulldogs, versus his arch nemesis, Toby Green of the Greater Western Sydney Giants. This should be earmarked for Marvel Stadium or the MCG. Now, I know that Giants don't have a huge following, but considering where these two teams are placed on the ladder, it makes sense that the AFL would shift the game. There's a game in Geelong, but there's no game in Melbourne City this Saturday. So why not change it?
Will regular fans go just to watch those two square off?
I think if they do something about it in the next 24 hours and build the game up, of course. I mean, look, Greater Western Sydney Giants aren't a fashionable team, but they've got very good players, and this could be billed as a finals-defining game, which could shape the rest of the 8. I mean, this is huge, this game. And it's also Toby Green versus Marcus Bontempelli. I think it just has all the hallmarks to be a ratings success for either Seven or Fox and also the fans in Melbourne.
Does the AFL have a cultural problem where fans are so fixated by their teams only that they wouldn't go and watch these superstars square off?
Oh, I think a lot's got to do with the media. I think a lot of people are now going, and obviously this relates back to, no, I shouldn't say obvious, but my own opinion relates back to COVID, whereby people were forced into their homes for such a long period of time that people are now more inclined to go out and watch things that they hadn't previously seen or be a theatre goer for sporting events that they would not normally have attended. And I think with the AFL's recent history of really good contests, particularly last week with Collingwood and Port Adelaide and Hawthorn and
Richmond. Hawthorn, yeah.
Yeah. And I think this could be billed as a really big game and a tough contest. The two teams dislike each other. There's a real underbelly of hatred between these two teams. And I think the media should build it up as much so that people, I think you might be able to get somewhere between 30 and 40,000 if they actually moved it to Marvel and MCG this week. And Ahmed, by extension, why wouldn't they be playing games at this time of year at the MCG when the finals are ostensibly played at the MCG, and that's where teams want to get the most practice?
It makes no sense playing in Ballarat this time of the year. Absolutely nothing.
Well, they are to hit and turn around and say, we'll pay for it.
Not only that, I mean, it's freezing in Ballarat, number one. It's a second-tier stadium. It's not made for the best athletes in our country. Like, let's be frank. Like, you play preseason games, yeah, okay. But you're playing regular home and away games in Ballarat.
It's a good VFL ground, not an AFL ground.
Exactly. So this is the point, though, right? If we consider ourselves this elite competition, we can't be playing in second-tier stadiums. It's as simple as that.
Yeah,
you have to give athletes the best.
I totally agree. There's not even a grandstand.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what are you doing? I don't understand. You're receiving every single year billions of dollars in TV rights. You got the biggest brands working with you. You got the best athletes in the country. And you're getting them to play on a second-tier ground in Ballarat because of some money. Either make the investment and build out a stadium, or don't play there at all. It's as simple as that. Or only play preseason games.
I would 100%. Yeah, I would 100%. I agree with you. And
we have to start acting like the big boy league. We can't keep piss fighting around from these little stadiums like that gather around in Adelaide. You're playing, you got cows in the background. Stadiums were horrendous. The siren sounds like a local footy siren.
Yeah,
It's just not on.
Oh, I agree. And I think if the Gatherhead, I think it had a huge upside for the state of South Australia. And some of the players I spoke to really enjoyed the country feel of the grounds where they played. I think it was Hawthorn versus the Giants. They liked that intimate feeling. But that's once a year. That they shouldn't be playing games at Ballarat. And the other thing is, the Giants and the Bulldogs, I think, would probably have to catch a bus from the centre of Melbourne, which is probably an hour and a half, cooped up on a bus on the day of the game. How does this equate to being a professional sport?
Not only that, they aren't like customized buses just for them. They're just regular coaches. Now, this is my problem. All over the world, the best teams have the best facilities. The best leagues have the best facilities, right? Why are we still doing what we're doing with these second-tier stadiums? I don't care if it's Adelaide. I don't care if it's Ballarat. You claim to be the best league in the country. You're earning billions of dollars a year. Invest in facilities. We don't have to watch players playing in a stadium like Ballarat or in some of those stadiums in Gather-Round. If you want to host those games, you have to be ready to host those games. It shouldn't be a right for someone. You got to earn it, right? There has to be infrastructure that's invested into these facilities and these clubs to actually act like they are the elite.
I tell you took the words right out of my mouth. The only thing I will add to that is my criticisms of the NRL have been exactly that. If you guys want to be a serious competition in Australia, particularly the northern states, get rid of these suburban grounds and go into the city.
Or if you want to keep them, bring them up to scratch. Right. Which makes it almost impossible to be feasible because they cost so much to bloody run. So it's not about losing a suburbia feel or a country feel. No, it's not about that. If you want that feeling, go play country footy. This is the big time. This is the AFL. This is the NRL. The facilities have to match what you're receiving and the status and stage that you're performing at and receiving. You can't just act like, oh, we want that footy, we want that country feel, that move on. Nobody cares about emotions. Yes, traditions stand, but we got to bring things to a commercial level where they represent the value that's being sold to all these organizations and media networks. All right, everyone. Thank you all very much for tuning in. Thank you, Tony. Take care, everyone. We'll catch you all next week.
Thanks, Harvard. Another great edition of Raw Sports.